Hello. Today I wanted to talk about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and the performance I'm getting. I was a little concerned because the minimum requirements and recommended requirements were pretty high for this game since it's using ray tracing. So I have a 5800X 3D for the CPU and a 6800 XT for the video card. So it's not the oldest, but it's not the newest either, right? However, when I fired up the game, set the options, it's actually pretty playable with this setup. So, taking a look at how I have the video set up, we're actually running it at 3440 by 1440. It's my native widescreen. So it's a little smaller than 4K, and we're using the cinematic picture framing. Most of these settings I've left on default. We are also running in HDR. I do turn the motion blur down a little bit, but graphics quality is set to supreme, so all the settings follow after that. No resolution scaling, so I turn that off so that the game dynamically can try to adjust your resolution smaller when it hits a frame rate target, but we're going to turn that off because I don't think that I need it. This is not a first-person shooter, right? So you don't need extremely high frame rates. All right. Let's take a look at the opening sequence, and I did put up this game does have nice built-in metrics going at all times, so we can see what kind of frames I'm running. As you can see right now, it's sitting at 60 frames per second, which is not high in today's terms, but it's certainly playable. Let's see. Okay, so let's do a new game. And we'll change the moderate difficulties, fine. As you can see at the supreme settings, if you look at the metrics, it is using close to 12 gigabytes, 11 gigabytes of that memory in there. The 6800 XT has 16, I believe, so I am within the limit, which is good. Right. Taking a look at the graphics of this game, it is pretty nice looking. A little bit of blurriness on those shadows, but I think that is the way that shadows would look in real life. You can see light coming through the trees and the beams and rays there. It's pretty nice. Taking a look at these guys, there's a lot of detail on the clothing and character models. And jungle looks pretty good. Not sure that this is better. This is a newer game, but it's a different engine, of course, but the last Tomb Raider game had some pretty outstanding juggle graphics as well. And this does look pretty good. You look at the rocks and you got pretty good texturing going on there. Even the moss or lichen on the rocks, that seems to have some depth to it. I'll just follow these guides here. Oh, let's go down here. As you can see, the frames are staying pretty much around 60, which is fine. I have tried turning it down a step to ultra, but and it's a little faster. Once again, since we're not playing a shooter game, I don't really need super high frame rates. As you can see, those character models are pretty outstanding. They're not Not perfect in every scene, but they are pretty close. So once again, you got, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. You got moss growing, good texture on the rock. That's pretty solid. A lot of this is pretty much recreated from, a lot of the scenes are recreated straight out of the movie too. And I've seen comparison shots where they're showing movie scenes versus what's happening in the game here. And it looks pretty good. Let's see where these guys are. Really nice looking lighting effects in here.
This was Forrestal's favorite.
Why did they leave these things behind?
I think they were intent on coming back.
Some of the objects look a little odd, and that may be the stylization, but seems like there's a little too much detail on, or sharpness, some of those things. Though that could actually be one setting I did find that improved it further on in the game was to take your video and adjust the sharpening. By default, it's at 50%, but things were kind of blurry, so I have bumped it up to 85. And I'm still fiddling a little bit with exactly where I like it, but maybe what I just saw on those objects was a result of that extra sharpening.
Visitors are near. Poison is still fresh, 3 days. They're following us.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
It's definitely an interesting choice to do this in first person, but I think it works pretty well. We'll see some scenes up ahead where you see the transition from first person to third person, then back again, which happens during some of the climbing when he's using his whip to swing. I don't find it too jarring, but like for instance here, we're going to see that transition. Once again, really nice looking details on the characters and objects. The voice actor for Indy is pretty spot on. I have not heard anything odd yet.
The temple is up there, senor.
That's pretty nice. I guess that's what they... I guess that's a lens flare there, right? That is pretty realistic looking. Some of the foliage here, I think, could be a little more detailed, but it's not bad at all.
This is it. This is where Forrestal cashed in.
Friend of yours.
A competitor. He was good. He was very, very good.
Senor. Nobody has come out of there alive. Please.
You first, senor.
Alright, now as we've moved indoors, you can see the frame rate's jumped up to a little bit. This entire time, everything's been pretty smooth, no jerkiness. Of course, using adaptive sync, so pretty clean. And beyond this part of the game, it has stayed pretty high, closer to what we're seeing now. So the jungle scene is a little lower. Some of the character cutscenes are lower as well. But throughout most of the game, it's pretty consistently up here. Note that AMD's FSR has not been patched in yet, so we should get better performance once we get that. But this is at my native resolution at supreme settings, and I'm pretty pleased. This is completely playable. Looks great. Sounds great. And then once you get farther into the game, right now we're looking at a lot of cutscenes and quick time events, but the game is not all that. So this is much more a simple tutorial walkthrough, as well as a tribute to the first movie.
Stop. Stay out of the light.
You said he was very good.
He was. Wasn't good enough.
Are you?
Guess we'll find out.
So the light there looks outstanding. So here's another example of that transition to third person.
Crazy, senor.
Let us hurry. There is nothing to fear here.
That's what scares me. That did it.
Pretty good. details all around. And definitely for all the recommended requirements and such they did, this plays very well. And I'm sure we'll see some performance increases for AMD card users. Oh yeah. Yep. Lighting in here definitely looks pretty good. Not every texture looks perfect to me, but a lot of it is very good. So
That's how it's done.
I did play with the settings quite a bit, and you can bring it down to a couple steps to very ultra, I think is the next step down, or just plain old ultra, and there is a decent enough increase in frame rate. It's not huge, so I think going to ultra puts me more in the 75 range. That said, spinning around here, no hitches, no problems, so 60 is fine.
Give me the whip. Give me the whip.
Adios, señor.
Oh, guess we will try that again.
Adios, Vito. American. Solid American.
Man, I knew 10 years. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Well, where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
Oh, there's the opening sequence. As you can see, it's a pretty good looking game. Performance is decent on my setup. Like I said, I was a little worried when I bought it, thinking, I wonder if this can be another game where I'm not going to be very happy. Like when I first got Tomb Raider, I forget exactly what equipment I had, but performance was just okay, right? But you were getting a lot of parts where you're dropping down to the low 50s or even high 40s, and you can actually feel that even on a adventure game. This is staying pretty consistent, 60 and higher through all the playthroughs, so that's at a max settings, right? So no complaints from me. It's pretty good, and we'll only get better performance as AMD gets some profiles in their drivers for it, and if they activate FSR, which well, I guess we probably won't see it, but I know they have DLSS available for the NVIDIA cards already. No, definitely a lot of different settings you can play with too. Definitely if you took your shadow quality down, it helps, and texture pull size too. You can reduce that. So if your video card does not have that 16 gigabytes of memory space, you can reduce the texture pull size so that it fits within your memory space. If you don't do that, you will get some hitching. So hopefully this helps out anybody that was wondering what kind of performance to expect in game. Thank you.